Okay, so now we're going to talk about scene 3, in which we're calling the introduction to the prosecution. Now, remember, the prosecution team has not been developed. This is just intro to some of the characters. You want to take us through this, Jody?
I will take you through it.
All right.
For sure. So, enter scene, and we have Marcia at home, 2 little kids, and it looks very chaotic. Very like morning routine. She's trying to get ready to work. She's trying to get the kids to eat. They're messing around. She's got a lot of balls in the air. And then she gets this phone call from work. And it's one of the detectives. And he's like, I want to get your opinion on it. And what I thought was very interesting from this conversation is 2 points, really. Number one, she's at home, but she's getting a work phone call. So is it Marcia doesn't really have work-life balance, or is work, kind of requiring her to be on call 24/7? I wasn't really sure, but that was my first observation of this moment. The second thing I thought was her focus is all over the place at the beginning of the conversation with the detective. She's dealing with the kids. She's talking to the detective. She's got him on the phone. She keeps talking to the kids. Then the detective starts going through the evidence, and she stops and puts 100% focus on what he's saying. So the facts and the details resonate her completely still and 100% focused, which I thought was a big insight to Marcia at like the initial meeting of her character. What did you take away from all of this of like meeting Marcia at home?
So I would say from this scene, the home was one element, and we'll go, especially when he enters the office. So let me say this. The one thing that I really liked about meeting Marcia was when I mentioned OJ Simpson. She's like, who?
Yes, she only realizes it's him when the guy finally he goes through the whole
the Hertz
resume.
Commercials.
That's the only time she recognizes him. It's the football star. He's in the Naked Gun movies. The guy on the Hertz commercials. Oh yeah, whatever. It's like she didn't even get it until it was about the commercial, which is hilarious.
Yeah. So when she got the phone call, when she said no, who, and she got the evidence, so I'm already thinking to myself, oh boy, she's business. I'm detecting a little bit of aggression with her, like she's focused. Then she goes, so it takes her from home into the office, and that's where her secretary, first of all, she's in a rush, she's moving fast. You can tell by her body language, she's focused, she's moving, and I think her secretary or the executive assistant says to her, there's a baby shower today, right? And basically, she's supposed to be not only going to it, she's hosting it. I don't have time for that. So after hearing this and seeing how focused she is, and really, I would say even a little bit of aggressive, and how serious she is, I asked myself this, and let me ask you, is she, again, this is just meeting them, but is she a prosecutor who's a mother, or is she a mother who's a prosecutor?
She is definitely, in my opinion, a prosecutor who happens to be a mother.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting.
Because it looks like her job is her first priority. It comes over everything else. Comes over the kids, comes over the friend's baby shower. The assistant even says something about her husband or something. There's a message. I don't have time for that today. It's like her 100% focus is on this OJ thing.
So already we're seeing that she has a family, she has kids, and it's suggested that she has a husband, but I think they're talking about a lawyer, so that's a divorce coming. So to me, when I hear this, I'm hearing about here's someone, ultimately we know this is going to be one army versus the other. This is the prosecution, the lead prosecution versus the defense. And already I'm seeing this person who not only is focused and aggressive, but she's got these 2 kids she has to take care of, and she's got a divorce. So already I'm thinking to myself, the balance. When you study like military history, you look at like armies or divisions, whatever you call them. There's a thing called combat effectiveness. 100% combat effective means you have all your troops, all your ammunition. When you go to battle, you take everything with you. To me, half her focus, her energy is what? Divided on the family. Half of it now is not half. I mean, how much is going to be divided on the divorce? all of these back end elements are, I think, will affect her performance. So that to me is already a sign by, boy, this is going to be a challenge for her, I think.
I agree in the terms of corporate America. That's work-life balance, and it's talked about all the time. You can't be 100% devoted to work 24/7 or you're going to get burnout, and you can't be 100% focused on home either. You kind of got to compartmentalize the sections of your life. Like when you're at work, you got to be about work. When you're at home, you got to find the balance that works for you, whatever that is. And they try to help you achieve that. But I've seen that too. People that just work hours upon hours, and it's like, are you, like you said, the prosecution, mother prosecution, are you working to live or are you living to work? It's the same kind of thing. She is clearly living to work.
Yeah, and let me say for the viewer out there, I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying in the context of this show, of what is going to come up, this is an important element, because
yes.
Is she bringing her full fight? How can you bring your full fight if your life is not balanced? That's going to be a question that we will see, I think, later on. But this is a good first introduction to her, to Marcia Clark. What's the next scene? Or not? What's the next thing that comes in this scene?
So the next thing is that Marcia and some other colleagues are meeting with the boss, Gil, and they're kind of going over the case. And like Oh, go ahead.
Gil Garcetti. So she's meeting with Gil Garcetti, who is the head DA, district attorney. So sorry to cut you off, but she's meeting with her
totally
boss.
Fine. Yes, and they're kind of like I almost want to say triaging. It's like, because she got this phone call first thing in the morning. The murders happened overnight, so they're kind of coming together. Not necessarily the people that are going to work on it, but just like, what do they know so far? Where are they going? And they're talking about the timeline. They're talking about the evidence. You get the crime scene photos, and you have somebody say, well, I met OJ and he's just the nicest guy. I couldn't see him doing it. But then another person says, yeah, well, he has a prior crime, I guess it is, a prior something, that he beat up Nicole and he got like a slap on the wrist because he's a celebrity. So like what you see on the surface might not really be what's going on, is what my takeaway was of this whole moment. And Marcia's look, like, it's all like feeding in to this for her, of like, I felt like she's very competitive person, very, and it's like every little bit of evidence, every little bit of thing is like another fuel of like, I'm getting one step closer to like to winning, because she gives this look like,
I think
at the end there.
I think one of the biggest challenges is, when OJ is the suspect of this is already high profile. So we know that this is already high profile. And the question is, how could a celebrity of this magnitude do this? But then they find out that he has a prior history of spousal abuse, bad spousal abuse. So right now the evidence, even though the evidence is there and she sees the pictures of the crime photos that she shows Gil, it is sinking in that not only is a possibility that he did this, but it is a probability. And and so it's just becoming clear and clear and clear that he is now the target. And this is important because, again, she's focused and she's going to bring a lot of energy to this. And as we see, when the cops deal with OJ, she has some words to say about it.
Yeah, well, I feel like Marcia has words to say about everything. She's not short on opinions.
Yeah. So this ends scene 3. Now let's go to scene 4.